Mrs. Green Apple. The song is called Doodle, and it is the next track on our track by track listen through to the Antenna album. I'm excited about this because this is amongst this little batch of songs at the end here which have no videos. And as I keep on saying, any song that has no video on a big budget artist like Mrs. Green Apple, you're left thinking, experimentation. It's like, why was there no video? Was it just deemed not to be one they wanted to put out as a single? Or was it one where they kind of felt they wanted to do something a bit different and didn't want to put that out as a single more because this was just for their own personal enjoyment? Well, they've had some great stuff. This has been a really awesome album. I've got to be honest, I really love when I do these track by tracks and I get generally pleasantly surprised most of the time. Especially when it's an artist who, like with Mrs. Green Apple, I've got to become quite familiar with. But Doodle, no idea what to expect. It's 4 minutes long. It's got a name which just makes me kind of want to giggle a little bit. Doodle. But let's see what it's like. 4 minutes of Doodle by Mrs. Green Apple from the album Antenna. We're so close to the end now. Let's enjoy this together and talk a little bit more afterwards.
気にしないスタイルで It's okay 所詮尺つなぎだろ学びのやでも
Liking that chaotic guitar
思うんだ気にしすぎやっぱりでも大切で高う潤す水飲み場避けて生きれても結局はぶち当たるんです夢なら覚めたと思う日
Again, strong build up. DJ, okay. Very quick on the rhythm changes here. So many rhythm changes. Normal time? Half time? No? I'm loving these little bits with a snappy, very sharp sound. I've noticed that a lot in their songs recently. Certainly since becoming a 3D. Nice build up to the key change there. Those playful rhythm changes, that's such a great thing to do. Most artists wouldn't do that. That's a really nice beefy guitar song. Nice bass work there. Bass is really cool. Again, I love how he signposts the little moments of the song. You can feel the changes coming. One of the quintessential things that this Green Apple song. Big changes are so well timed. Wow, we're getting a good change in this as well. It's weird because from moment to moment it just sounds like a playful pop rock song, but the ideas again are so overflowing. That's really That's really nice. You know, that to me, see, this is the thing that so much of the fundamental aspects of that song just kind of sound like a upbeat pop rock song, you know, sort of lots of guitar, you know, the drums are very sort of, you know, driving along in a fundamental way, big melody, the bass work, it feels very raw. This really feels like a band song. It really feels like a rock and roll song, just with those extra elements of like keyboards and the pianos thrown in to give it a little bit of extra sonic diversity. But I will say that one of the things that for me was so interesting is that you've taken all of these aspects and you've delivered a song that basically sounds like, yeah, it's a good quality rock and roll song. But there's so many fun changes in this. I really enjoy that. I mean, the fact the chorus, I really, you know, I mean, okay, maybe this is one of those ones where sometimes I compliment something and I wonder, is this just because I get excited about quirky songwriting things because that's my little forte? And so I don't know, this sometimes I talk about songwriting things and I can say, oh, that's definitely something that has a definite effect. That's a really good writing technique. The thing he does with the beat in the chorus, I don't know if I just like that because as someone who really adores songwriting, I think, no, not enough people do that. But I just love the way the beat comes in straight away and it immediately goes to half time and then double time and then back to the normal rock tune. It's just like, it's really, really cool how he's sort of thrown that in so playfully right at the beginning of the chorus. The chorus itself is a key change. The bridge is interesting because it tries to make you think that it's doing a change of time signature, but it's actually just like a lot of offbeat sounds appearing. Again, he's being very playful. I don't know. I mean, it might not be a Maury's actual decision here, but I imagine he's very involved in production and all those aspects as well, because, you know, there are certain sonic things that are so prevalent amongst Mrs. Green Apple's songs, but there seems to definitely be a taste, and very much of recent, towards these very short, sharp kind of sounds that just appear, go. Love doing like imitations of instruments with my mouth. Wonderful skill I have. Anyway, yeah, it's. I love those little sharp sounds that he seems to like using again, very much in the songs, because it just means you have all these little sounds. They appear and then they go. So suddenly, it means you can have like little ranges of like, oh, there's a little electronic piano sound, and then there's a little bit of strings. There's a little bit of a little run of the bass. And then a little bit of this, a little bit of that, just a little bit of things popping in and out. The guitars will often give very short phrases as well. And it just keeps you, there's always something fun sort of tickling around your ears and all these interesting sounds popping in and out and adding such a playful life to everything. And then at the end, it just comes around and it ends with a bit of a sort of like straight rock and roll chorus. Another key change and then bam, we just go into the last bit singing along. And yeah, I think this is a great example of how to execute like a bunch of really fun, playful ideas and then get to the end of it, leaving everyone thinking that, oh, it was just a nice rock and roll song. It's a great way to, I mean, that's how you deliver something that has re-listen value. I often say this, you know, it's a great ability to write a catchy song. It's a fantastic ability. It's a great ability to write a song that has a nice, thickly layered sound, so it leaves a good impression upon people. But there is also that ability to write songs that have an effortless nuance, a kind of a nuance to their sound where it means that every time you come back and listen to the song, there's something just so much for you to get your ears into that you just enjoy it over and over again, and yet it's so easy and accessible to get into because of the fact that it is primarily still just a nice rock and roll song with a good melody and some good chord progressions. So yeah, for me this is a really great example of a good, fun album track. Not going to be for everyone once again, but I think this for me is like a bit of a hidden gem. I don't know how I'm going to feel. I always wonder when I come back to albums afterwards, and because it's easier once you finish doing the reactions, you can just sit down and listen to them cover to cover a little bit more naturally, because you're obviously not stopping between each one to give a review, and then sometimes you have to do them on separate days. But after I've done the track by track reviews, I like to sit down and listen to albums a few times over and really get familiar with them. And I do wonder, like, I think this is one of those songs where when I come back and listen to this album, this is probably going to be one of those ones that stands out to me as a hidden gem. We're going to keep on coming back to it going, that's a really good song. It's a song that starts off very modest, but by the end, once the whole progression, once everything's played out, once you've had that crescendo, that big final bit, that big key change, that big ending, the big arrangement, and the feeling that the song starts modestly but ends with a really great flourish, that's the sort of song that makes you think, yeah, worth listening to again. So I'm looking forward to coming back to this in retrospect. I definitely enjoyed it on first listen. As always, get in the comments, tell me what you think, and until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.